Welcome to the Exercise Classroom, your source for anatomical, biomechanical, and practical exercise education. Today's lesson, the deadlift. Introduction. The deadlift is a compound, full-body strength exercise that involves lifting a loaded barbell or weight from the floor to a standing position. It targets multiple joints and muscle groups, especially the posterior chain. It's a foundational movement for strength development and goes by the same name across styles, conventional, sumo, and Romanian deadlifts being common variations. The deadlift is essential for athletes, bodybuilders, and general fitness due to its ability to build strength, muscle mass, and movement proficiency. Body contour benefits. The deadlift develops a thick, strong back, sculpted hamstrings, and glutes. It improves the overall shape of the posterior chain while reinforcing spinal posture and alignment, giving the body a powerful, upright appearance. The movement. The deadlift combines hip extension, knee extension, and spinal stabilization as the lifter moves from a bent-over position to standing tall with the weight. This lift mimics real-world lifting mechanics, making it essential for injury-resistant movement in sports and daily life. It strengthens grip, improves core bracing, and enhances neuromuscular coordination across multiple planes. Exercise execution. Stand with feet hip-width apart, barbell over the midfoot. Grip the bar just outside the legs with arms straight. Bend at the hips and knees so the back is flat, chest up, and eyes focused forward. Brace the core. Exhale and push through the heels as you extend the hips and knees simultaneously to lift the bar. Keep the bar close to the shins and maintain a flat spine throughout the ascent. Stand fully upright with shoulders back and hips extended. Pause briefly, then reverse the movement in a controlled descent, hinging at the hips first before bending the knees to return the bar to the floor. Proper technique. Maintain a neutral spine, tight core, and locked-in shoulder position throughout the lift. The bar should travel in a straight vertical path from the floor to the lockout position. Avoid swinging or leaning back at the top, and ensure full hip and knee extension at the finish. The most common mistake is rounding the lower back at the start or during the pull. This shifts stress away from the glutes and hamstrings and places it on the lumbar spine, increasing injury risk. Muscle mechanics. The lift begins with concentric contraction of the glutes and hamstrings to drive hip extension in the quadriceps to extend the knees. At the top, there is a brief isometric contraction to stabilize the load. The eccentric phase during the descent involves controlled lengthening of the same muscles to return the bar to the floor with control. Primary movers. The primary movers in the deadlift are the gluteus maximus, hamstrings, and quadriceps. The glutes power hip extension, while the hamstrings assist in both hip extension and knee stabilization. The quadriceps are active in knee extension during the lift-off phase. Other muscle roles. The hip flexors, such as the iliopsoas, act as antagonists by opposing hip extension. The adductor magnus, soleus, and gastrocnemius assist in knee and hip extension as secondary contributors. The erector spinae, trapezius, and core muscles stabilize the spine and torso during the lift, while the forearm flexors stabilize grip. Biomechanical considerations. The deadlift emphasizes hip movement over knee movement. Proper hinging at the hips ensures maximal glute and hamstring recruitment. The bar should move in a straight vertical line. Any horizontal deviation increases strain on the lower back. Maintaining a neutral spine throughout prevents shear forces on the vertebrae and protects the lower back. Balanced weight across the midfoot and heel provides a stable base and improves force transfer. Training effectiveness and optimization. The deadlift responds well to heavier weights due to the large muscle groups involved. A steady lift with a slower eccentric phase increases muscle activation and enhances control. Proper warm-up sets activate the hips and spine, reducing the risk of strain and improving lifting efficiency. Adjust grip, double overhand or mixed, and stance, sumo or conventional, to shift emphasis and prevent plateaus. Safety and injury prevention. Rounding the spine increases lumbar disc stress. Maintain alignment from start to finish. Flat-soled shoes or lifting shoes reduce instability and enhance grounding. Reset each representative to avoid using momentum, which can overload joints and reduce muscle engagement. Progressive overload should be gradual to avoid excessive spinal compression and hamstring tears. Variations and alternatives. The Romanian deadlift keeps the knees more extended, placing greater emphasis on the hamstrings and glutes through a longer eccentric phase. The trap bar deadlift changes the center of gravity and reduces lower back strain, making it more beginner-friendly. The good morning is a hip hinge dominant exercise that targets the posterior chain with lighter loads and greater emphasis on spinal control. The barbell hip thrust isolates the glutes more directly with reduced axial load on the spine, ideal for glute-specific training. The deadlift is a cornerstone movement that builds full body strength, reinforces proper lifting mechanics, and enhances functional power from the ground up.